be able to see what I'm going to draw right now. So come in as close as you can. All right. So the very first thing that I want to get you guys to do is to think. Go ahead and you start recording. Let's start. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is like establishing a simple pad looking in plan view, okay, at the terrain. All right. So let's say, for example, that I'm going to just establish a pad right here, and I'm picking the steepest part of the site so that I can use it kind of as an explanatory sort of position. Okay. So always remember to register your trace paper to what you're doing so that you can reposition it if you have to. So I'm drawing over two of these, right? So that I can, like, if it gets moved, I'm like, oh, all right, I'll just reposition it. It's like right there. So I might even draw this line in. Okay. All right. So I have a bunch of lines coming across this site, right? Now, if this has to be a level area, what do? Well, if I want to balance the cut and fill, right? That is, have some area here that's being filled in and some area back here that's being cut in. The very first thing that you're going to do is you're going to start to take the topo lines and take them either one direction or another. Okay? So I'm going to find kind of the midpoint between all these. So let's see, this thing's crossing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 contour lines. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to kind of pick the point right in the middle. So here's 2, 3. This one, this is where they're right in the middle. Right there. Okay? Let me clarify what I mean by that. There are, if I count the space between the topo layers, see how there's layers here? If I count the space, there's 1, 2, 3 on that side, 1 in the middle, and 1, 2, 3 on this side of the pad. Does that make sense? Okay, so what's going to happen with these two lines is they're going to go around this thing and come back out the other side. Does that make sense? All right, so what I'm going to do is get my tape. Tape this down so it doesn't move on me. I'm going to take a piece of paper, piece of trace, and you're going to waste a lot of trace doing this. All right? I'm going to set it down right there, and I'm going to draw that layer. All right? So this line here is going to hit my property, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it back, bring it across, and then I'm going to cut it forward until it hits the same line. And then it keeps going. So I need to draw this thing in so I can re-register it. And I'm just going to lightly draw the pad. That'll help me. Like if it gets moved, I can just put the pad back, right, and locate that. But this is the new contour. The dark line is my new contour. Okay? All right, so I'm going to put that, leave that on there just like that. Trace. Now the next one. My next contour is going to come this way, and it's going to jog back, come across, come forward to where it exits, and it comes out that way. That's the next contour. in the topo model. I'm doing this instead of sequential layers so you guys don't have to think about it too much. Okay? What I'm trying to get you guys to understand is when a contour hits a retaining wall, where's it go? Right? Does it just disappear? It follows the wall. So take that down. Take that down. Do my registration. Next layer. You can see why we use trace to do this. Somebody that's adept at doing this doesn't have to do this. Somebody that's been doing this for a long time, they can just picture what it's going to do. This is just an exercise that I've been doing the last couple of years to try and get students to understand what their contour is doing. Okay, so there's the next one. Put my registration in.
So in section, is it going to look like stairs?
You're going to find out, because you know why? You're going to build this. You guys are all going to do this right now, and you're going to build it, the little tiny model, you're going to build it out of this stuff. Okay. All right, next one. So I'm almost to the top where I pretty much am. Goes like that, comes across here. And it starts to get hard to see them when you get this many layers in. Okay, that's my cut. All of these layers right here represent the cut lines. And I better register that. Okay, now I go to do the fill lines, and it's too thick. I already can't see the lines back there. So I'm just going to go ahead and take these, right, and I'm going to kind of keep them together, lift them off, and then kind of draw down from there. From that layer right there. Okay? So take these all off. All right, here's one thing I'm going to have you guys do when you build this little contour model that you're building. Get me a scale out of there. All right, thank you. This little object that you're doing, I want you to pick a steep section of the slope anywhere you want, right? And make it 1.5 inches by 2.5, or 1.5 inches, yeah, 1.5 inches by 2.5. What? 1.5 inches by 2.5. And then what I want you guys to do is I want you to draw another sort of rectangle around this thing that's going to be 4 inches by 3 inches. That little 4-inch by 3-inch with the 1.5 by 2.5 thing in the middle of it, that's the little topo that you're building. Your topo is going to be this big, little tiny thing. Okay? So it shouldn't take you a whole lot of time to cut it. And that's the topos that you need to cut. I needed to have drawn this line around those, so I'm going to have to restack them all up. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to layer this thing down You're going to draw your pad, find your middle line, your middle surface, and then you're going to draw the little cutout mound, or little cutout topo that you're building. Okay? All right, so now let's go the other direction. So I continue doing the same thing, right? Here's my this is the little topo that I'm going to be cutting out, so I'm going to draw that. Right? I'm going to draw my site, which is right there. And now I take this next line and I come to my site, I go forward, come across, right, and then I exit out where it exits out, which is right there. Okay, so there's one. Again, draw the overall site. I should have done that on those. Now I get to pay for it because I gotta do it all over again. So now I go to the next one. It comes across, forward, across, and it just so happens that it exits out right there. And draw my site. Okay. You want these lines to go to the edge of the outer rectangle. There. One more. This one comes to here, jogs forward, comes to right about there, and then it just sort of takes off that way. Right? Now after that, you'll have to do one for each of the contour lines above and below. So I'll have to do another one for this line, and another one for this line, another one for this line. When you're done, what you're going to end up with is these little things to cut out, right? So you end up just starting with the bottom one, and you just work your way up and you build a little topo. And what you'll find is that that topo is going to have, you know, a part that sticks up and has a vertical retaining wall, and then a part in the back that's kind of cut. The key to it is finding that middle contour, right? That's the flat part that goes all the way around. Does that make sense? You guys understand how you're going to start this thing? So I'm going to go back over the steps. You're going to go on a steep part of the site, and you're going to draw kind of along with the contour lines. You're going to draw a rectangle that's 1.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Then you're going to do another one that's, I don't know, was it 4 by 3, the other one, so that becomes your little site. Step 3, you find the middle contour and you kind of draw the line all the way around it. Really, I'm going to erase that line right there and that line right there, right? So that becomes the level that I'm using, and then after that, I start cutting all of the next ones. Now, here's one thing you guys might not understand about this. When I cut this one, right, the shape that I'm going to cut looks like this. And I don't cut this. That's the next one that I cut up from there. Do you want me to draw it? Does that clarify it for you guys? Okay, watch. So you guys understood how to do this, right? Find the middle slope. All right. So when I go to cut one of these contours, what I'm going to cut is a shape that looks like I'm going to cut a shape that looks like that. So that's my level. Then after that, the next one I'm going to cut is going to look like this. All right, go ahead and stop it. So the next one I'm going to cut